Quit acting stupid. With
Bobby,
Sammy,
and
Andy. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Quit Acting Stupid. I am your host, Jamie Paredes, and joining me, as always, are my brothers, Ruru. I don't get that. And Bobby. And Andrew is somewhere out there.
I just got a text. He just said his computer's super slow, that he rebooted it. He's literally just waiting for the studio to load, so he'll be here any second.
All right.
But
All right.
that
How you
being
guys
said,
doing?
we're doing great, other than Andrew, obviously. So we've got a guest today, and
Yes.
a guest that we've been trying to have on for a couple weeks now, and for different reasons here and there, we've had to kind of
I think
reschedule.
it mostly has to do with you dropping the ball, right?
pretty much.
I don't know if I dropped the ball. I had to work. I got some extra hours the last week, so I had to get off early and whatever. Let's get her on, guys. So she is we just found out she's in medical sales. Like I was going to just say nurse, but she's in medical sales. She's above and beyond that.
Just a nurse?
I know. I didn't mean just an whatever. She's a model. She's an actor. She's a friend. She's a fellow crusader. Although Andrew wasn't a crusader, but he's not here right now. So, guys, please welcome Charisse Taylor.
Hey. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Fantastic.
Bobby,
Where
Bobby
you
looks
at?
to be in a seedy hotel room.
I know.
I'm sure there's blood on these curtains somewhere.
There's
And
more
other
than blood.
bodily fluids.
Mixed with semen.
Do not take a black light to those curtains. Jamie and I were sitting here chatting with Charisse, and we had some good content. We're like, wait, save it, hold it. You know, that'd be good for the pod, but waiting on you guys, man. So, like I said, Andrew's still struggling to get on, but where were you, Bob? Did you get your food that you were?
I ate as quickly as I could, and you guys prevented me from flirting too much with the bartender. So, thanks a lot, guys.
He's clearly drunk.
I'm sure Anita's glad to hear that.
I've had a few beverages, as I do when I travel for business, but that's not the point. Let's get to our guest.
So you're drunk, is what you're saying?
No, I'm
This
not
just got
drunk.
really fun.
You guys say that shit all the time. I'm not drunk. I've had a few to kind of, get us loosened up and get us ready for this episode. That's all.
Hint number one that he's drunk.
Hold on. Is that your dog? Because if your dog keeps doing that shit the whole time, what is
Listen.
that? Is that your dog?
She's got a little food puzzle, and she's fussing with it over here.
If that's Charisse, it's fine. If it's Rudy's
No.
ugly dog Lilo, then we
It's
got a problem.
mine.
That's
Mine.
Lilo.
Look at Lilo over there.
He's back there acting a fool.
Look at her. Come on and join us, little girl. No, I
That's
ain't
the
playing.
one.
I'm not playing with you. I knew that when Bobby was talking shit on the dogs, he was probably thinking it was mine, but it
I
wasn't.
think I was thinking it was yours.
So, Charisse,
Yes.
how are you? Holy Cross. What have you been doing? I haven't seen you since Holy Cross.
That's not a
That's
true.
not true. That's not true at all. But
That is definitely not true. The last
Those
time
were
I
the
saw
days,
her,
though.
the
Go
last
ahead,
time I
Bob.
saw her was like 2 years ago when we. I'm sure we'll get to this at some point. The whole audition.
Oh,
Yes.
man.
There's some good
I don't
stuff
want to
there.
jump ahead.
Yeah, no, I kind of just wanted to start with your Holy Cross days, which I found it kind of interesting. Maybe it's not interesting at all, but it was just kind of so. Perry, your brother Perry, was he a year older than you, Bob?
He was a year older than me. Yeah.
So then it was Perry, and then it was Bob, and then it was Brian, your brother Brian.
Yes.
Then it was Jamie. Then it was me. Then it was you, Charisse. Then it was your sister, Jamie, right?
You're already wrong.
Oh, you're Jamie. Yeah, you're
My
Jamie.
Jamie.
And
Yeah.
my Jamie. Yeah, my
Yeah.
Jamie's the last one. Yeah.
Boy Jamie and girl Jamie. So we were all kind of for 8 years straight. There was one of us in every class. Yeah. We kind of, stacked on top of each other. So how's the family doing? How's God, I haven't heard from Perry or Brian for a while.
So-
Brian in years.
Brian's still here in Kansas City. He's a firefighter with the Kansas City Fire Department. So he's still doing that.
And he does have a little bit of a social media presence. He's got kids, right? And I think I've seen them out there before.
Yeah, he's a grandfather.
So am I.
Put that in your pipe.
Brian, me and you are grandfathers.
Wow.
What do his grandkids call him?
Papa.
Papa? I'm
Rudy's
Poppy.
poo-poo.
You're Poppy.
I'm
You're-
Big Poppy.
Well, he's Papa because he looks like the great babe he always has, and so it's just more befitting. He's more like Shrek, like Papa.
Brian, I always remember what I remember about Brian was that I don't know if he was a really good artist or if he was, right?
Yep.
Okay, because they even had like some of his stuff hanging in the school, like.
Yeah, he could freehand really well.
Yeah. So,
Crazy.
but then Perry was
Perry was what?
Perry was a little bit older than me, so I didn't know a whole lot about Perry.
Last I heard, he was out in Arizona. Is that right?
He is out in Arizona. There's a chance he might be moving back to Kansas City because more on the family. Marsha, mom, moved out of Kansas City back in 1996, and she went to St. Louis, and she just moved back to Kansas City this February. So she's been back, 3 or 4 months? Yeah.
Neat. Yeah.
So watch out.
Perry might be back. So the Taylors might be reassembling.
That leaves Jamie. Jamie's out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's what I was going to ask. So Jamie,
Yeah.
I knew she was east. She's in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
What's she doing out there? She's a military.
So,
right?
yes, Jamie, the youngest of us 4 kids after high school, went to West Point. And for those listening that don't know what West Point is, that's the prestigious military academy out in New York. It's about an hour north of the city, and it's the Army's branch. You have your Air Force Academy, your Naval Academy. West Point is for Army. And when you graduate West Point, you owe the military 5 years, but you graduate as they're engineers. So
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
Really good. So she did her 5 years, and at that time, now true story, we can spend time on Jamie, but this is really, really relevant stuff. Her 21st birthday was September 11th, 2001.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Party.
right, and that's what they were going to do. They'd plan on sneaking her down into the city, but that's the way that turned out. The campus was being circled by F-16s, that the whole, and so that didn't happen. But because of that, her 5 years that she had to give turned into 5 years of she was doing tours. So she was in Iraq.
Wow.
I think she was in Afghanistan, but I know that she was in Iraq, and she was doing. I mean, you can bring her on for one of these. She can speak to it more, but I know that she was doing.
Yeah, maybe we have the wrong sister on.
She was. Hey. She was doing surveillance in Blackhawks at one point. So.
Well,
Wow.
my dad delivered mail. So
Yes, in Germany.
In Germany.
Neat.
In Germany,
Neat.
far away.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's his military service?
That's his military service.
Tell
He
him
delivered
thank you for your
mail
mail service.
in Germany. So
Who
shout
knew
out to
that
my
the,
daddy.
Who knew that the Army had mailmen in? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so-
Jamie was all up in Blackhawks up over in Iraq, over in Mosul. And
Wow.
Jesus, that is
Yeah.
cool. Your Jamie is much better than our Jamie.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. Without
we
a doubt.
trade.
So, so she did her
I
5
definitely
years. And
agree.
so as an engineer, like in the civilian world, they qualify for lots of different types of jobs. So her and her husband, who also went to West Point, are engineers, and they work for a natural gas company out in Pennsylvania.
Neat.
And they live on a farm.
And
They
she
bought a
has,
farm.
she has no plans of coming back to KC though. Correct?
Never say never, but she's got a 15-year-old boy, and Nora is should be 12 in September. And they were, they're pretty rooted out there for now. Like I said, they just bought a farm, and so but you never know.
Love that you guys still stay close, even with her kind of gone. We've got a nephew, Bobby's son, that's about to move down to Dallas, which isn't quite as far as Pittsburgh, but when the family starts to move away,
The
it
first
can-
We
member of
all
the family
did
to
that
move
for
away.
a while. We all dispersed. Like I was not in Kansas City for probably 14, 15 years.
yeah, I had
Where were
no
you?
idea.
Where were you?
Everywhere. We can go over that. But I
Okay.
moved back to Kansas City 10 years ago. I moved back in 2014.
Yeah, I had no clue. When you told me that.
Well, that was also before like Facebook. Facebook
Right.
in my life didn't really show up. I didn't log in on that until like late 2009.
I'd have to go back and look, but yeah.
So
Probably
before
around the time we were
that, I mean, a lot of us, it was easy to lose contact of people that moved away or just not even very far.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's why that didn't occur to you, because you didn't even know. You didn't know
Yeah.
you didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know Charisse was missing. Yeah, exactly. So I remember at Holy Cross when we were younger, one of the main things that sticks in my head about your family was your house burning down.
Oh,
That was a huge deal because I remember the school we took donations and all kinds of stuff. What was that like? So is that even a big deal? Is that something
hell yes. April 9th, 1990.
ooh, you got that
wow.
burned in your memory.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
I was 11. And I think we were maybe Perry might have been a freshman at Rockhurst by that point, but he was the oldest. And so the rest of us were still at Holy Cross. Was he a sophomore? And Brian was a freshman? I don't think. Was I the only one left at Holy Cross? This was 1990. Yeah, I think I was the only one left at Holy Cross.
Really?
Or I mean, me and Jamie. The boys were not at Holy Cross anymore because I was 5th grade. Yeah, I think Brian and Perry were at Rockhurst at that point.
Right.
So what happened?
So our dryer was in the basement, and basements in Northeast, like you were actually, the basements are below
Right.
the ground. And so our laundry was down there, and it was a gas dryer. Anymore things are electric dryers, but I mean, old house, old things. And so it was a gas dryer, and they think that what I recall is that they think it was the outlet that caught fire and just yeah.
God. So were you? I'm assuming you were. Was it a nighttime thing? Were you in the house at the time?
We were all in bed.
Okay, so
it was probably like 11:30 at night, and so the way that house was, the basement, the first floor, the second floor, and then there was a third floor in that house. And all that third floor was my bedroom. It was like a really big finished attic. And so that's where I was. And hold on, let me get all my memories straight. No, I wasn't up there at the time. I was on the second floor. It was after the house got rebuilt that became my bedroom. Nonetheless, I was second floor. So me and Jamie, I believe, shared a room at the time. And Brian and Perry had their own rooms. And then my mom had her room. My mom did night school at the time. So she wouldn't normally get home until like 10:30, 10:45. But for some reason that night she got out early and she was home by like 10 o'clock. So everyone was home. Everyone was in bed. And I remember waking up I couldn't breathe. I was choking in my sleep. And so I wake up and I can't breathe. And all of our bedroom doors open up to the same hallway upstairs. And so I come out and you can't see it. This is seconds. This is only seconds that are going by. And I can't see. And here, I'll make light of something. It's kind of funny. You can laugh about it now. But at the time, this is 1990, what was very popular with women and females? Hairspray.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. Yeah. We all teased our hair and we had our waves going. Right. And that was the style. Yep. And so I had a head full of hairspray. And all this heat, I could see down the stairs, and there's windows at the stairs, and I could see the reflection of flames in those windows, even though I couldn't see my hands in front of me. I could see reflection of flames. And so that's emergency. And I could hear and feel and smell my hair singeing off of my head.
Wow.
I don't know that I ever told anybody, but I lost a lot of hair because of that.
Your hair was on fire.
I don't know that it was ever smoking, but everything was hot enough to where the hairspray in my hair melted and burned my hair.
Like Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
You're like Michael Jackson.
So again, confusion. All of this is happening. You can't breathe. Try holding your breath in a panic for seconds, and And so, first place I go is the bathroom, and we had a cool iron claw porcelain tub. We didn't have a shower, but we had a hose coming off of the faucet of that tub, and the first thing I could think of is I turned that faucet on, and I'm taking in water because that's the only thing that makes sense to me at the time. And this isn't working. And so I run into my mom's room, and she had a brass bed that sat at the frame that sat up against the front window of the house. But there was enough room between that brass frame for me. I slid through there to get out onto what is our porch roof at that time. I don't know where anyone else is at. I don't remember hearing anybody
screaming.
I don't remember yelling for Jamie. I don't remember yelling for the boys. When you're in a panic, and I was literally cannot breathe, cannot see, cannot breathe, panic. You're going off of memory from where things are in the house. And so I find that window, I slide out of it, and my mom is out there on that roof. Perry's out on that roof. He pulls Jamie out of his bedroom window. She found his way into his bedroom, and his window and that bedroom window of my mom's are both at the front of the house where the porch is. And so we're all out there on the porch, and there's no Brian.
Oh, Christ.
And my neighbor, do you remember the Civils? Like Angie and Sherry Civil and Shell Civil. They were Holy Cross kids, and I think the girls end up going to St. Mary's.
That name sounds very familiar. I bet
so
Bob
they were in between us and the Ferraras.
Okay.
On Jackson. So Paul Civil, the dad, is out there in the lawn. I can still picture him looking down, crying on the roof of my house, and he's got the water hose. He's trying to control whatever he can for the flames coming out of our downstairs windows, because my mom, she parked her car on the side of our house, which is in between the two houses.
Right.
What is that car next to flames? It's a bomb.
Yeah.
So he was trying to douse the car and keep the flames, because they were coming out of the basement door, hitting the car, which his house would have everything would have exploded. So I can remember him trying to do that and then realizing, oh, they're on the roof. And he's like, jump. So I jumped into Paul Civil's arms. And I don't remember my mom jumping, but I know that she didn't stick the landing quite as well. And she got pretty torn up on the way. The gutters took her out on the way down. He caught Jamie, caught Perry. Where's Brian? Turns out his room was at the back of the house, and his windows were at the back of the house where there was no roof back there. So he was struggling back there trying to figure out what to do, and ended up jumping out of the second story window with nothing to break his fall, but he went down 2 stories, and then he comes around the driveway. I'm here. So we were all accounted for, but by that time we had a ladder truck in our front yard.
Oh, wow.
And that dent from that ladder truck is probably still there in the front yard to this day, because it took the soil down.
Right.
I mean, it pulled up into the front yard.
Wow.
So Brian didn't have any injuries at all? He just jumped out and tuck and roll?
I mean, we were all kind of scraped and bruised. I don't remember. You know what? He had a black eye, because when he landed, his knee went into his eye. I do remember that.
Imagine like an ankle or a knee or something going up. Yeah. I mean, with that force and jumping.
He must have landed on his tail, and just.
Right. He was an athlete, so that helped.
Yeah. But anyway, so that happened. That was April 9th, 1990. I was 11. Jamie was only 9 or 10. The boys were like 14 or 15 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like I said, it's obviously a small memory I had in the back of my head, but I knew that it happened.
I had forgotten all about it until you mentioned something about it, Rudy. I was I do remember that being a thing.
Yeah. There were two or three like major events while we were at Holy Cross. That being one of them, and the other one was when Bobby Flores got he had cancer or something, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he did chemo, and we all I remember standing around the whole block of the school holding hands or something. You don't remember that at all, Jamie?
I vaguely recall this.
It was Bobby Flores, yeah. And I don't know what type of cancer he had, but he was.
I think it was a leukemia, and the only reason I think that because I remember he got pretty swollen, and that's one of the.
I remember him getting swollen.
What I know now about all the things is that I think that was a childhood leukemia.
That goes back to your time from being a nurse, like we were talking about earlier. Sorry.
Full circle.
Full circle. Hey, I have another story that was told to me recently by a coworker at Ford, who is also a Crusader with us. I was sitting there chatting, and this guy worked across the line from me probably for a month or two before I even knew who he was. Tall guy, big ZZ Top beard, tattoos, gauges in his ear. And I'm like, who's this? I don't know who this guy is, but he seemed like a nice guy. At the same time, like on Facebook, my Facebook keeps recommending like, hey, people you may know, Clark Bussey. And I'm like, why does Facebook keep showing me Clark Bussey? Like, I come to find out, I'm like, I heard somebody call this guy Clark across the line from him. I'm like, oh my God. So at one of our break times, I went over to him and I'm like, hey, are you Clark Bussey? And he's like, yeah. And so we're good friends now. Fast forward though, we were talking and we talked about Holy Cross all the time. And he said, yeah, I remember having lunch in the Holy Cross cafeteria. And as a kid, it was a Suzy Q. I'm trying to picture what a Suzy Q is. I meant to get a picture of it to bring it up, but he had a Suzy Q, and it's something that's cream filled. And he opened it up, and he licked it. And as soon as he came up, he made eye contact with you, and he said, "I think there was another blonde girl, and I believe maybe Carl Glorioso," and just. We're laughing at him, and he was, I don't know how many years younger, probably 2 years younger than you, maybe.
That checks out, yeah.
And he's like, and I'm sure he was joking. He's like, that scarred me for life. Like, I literally think about that all the time.
Like, what did I do? He made eye contact with me?
You guys, like, when he came up, he made eye contact with you and probably the blonde who, I don't know who it was. Maybe
that sounds like maybe Erica Buller, the blonde.
I was gonna say, maybe Erica Buller, but you guys started laughing at him, like making fun of him, just laughing at him. I think it's hilarious, and I still make fun of him to this day. Now that he told me the story, I think that's hilarious.
And we probably didn't even know that there was like some naughty angle to it that we were laughing at. We probably just thought, yeah, that's gross. But if we were adults today, we'd have been like,
yeah, I'm sure he didn't.
Had a totally different connotation.
He was just being a pig trying to get the cream filling out. What do you remember? You mentioned the storms at Holy Cross, and we've kind of talked about that before. I remember.
You guys, everybody remember that when they put us all in the hallways and they had us face the wall and did.
Jamie, where were you? Where was your childhood at?
I think it kind of blends in with like all the drills that we did, like the tornado drills and the.
That's what I remember. Yeah, the drills, having to go down in the cafeteria.
Oh, yeah.
We got right in the lobby, right in the hallway where the Paredes Early Education Center is. Is that still there?
I don't think it's there anymore.
I don't know if you know this, Charisse, but my brother Bob's kind of a big deal. He's on the board. He's on the board of something or other. But down there in that kindergarten or that preschool hallway, right outside our kindergarten class, there was a big sign, and it was the Paredes Family Early Education Center for a good 5 years, 6 years. How long did that last?
Yeah, I don't think we supported them enough to keep our name on there, so I don't know that it's still there anymore.
Terrible.
Somebody else ponied up a little more.
Yeah. Now who's up there? Probably
now it's going to be the St. Rosalia Center. It's going to be after the Rosses because they have generously given some funds to.
Yeah, shout out to the Rosses. They knocked our name off of there quickly.
Oh yeah,
they're like
amazing what money will do.
Get on Paredes's. But that hallway, that was the hallway where I sat there. I can't say Indian style anymore, so it's crisscross applesauce. Crying, worrying about my dog and my grandmother at my house. And actually, I think Andrew was born already. He was a little baby. And I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to die because there's a tornado that's hitting Northeast.
I remember Joe Mike Tuso crying for the same reason because his dog was outside.
Yeah.
And I can remember, we must have been, you remember the doors from the main office there out to the playground?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there was that brick wall there that we would bang all of our erasers on to get all the dust out. There'd always be prints of it. But absolutely. You could, if you were passing that door at the right time, you could see all the way over to the soccer field. And I can still remember because this was the middle of the day. It was probably like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. And this is what I learned first time I'd ever heard it. They called it a microburst. It was a microburst that came through.
Yeah, I never heard of a microburst.
And it wasn't quite a tornado, but they called it a microburst. And the cloud, the sky got black. There was lightning, and there was a huge power line that would run across the playground, the parking lot there. And that power line fell into the playground, and it was sparking. I remember seeing that.
Right. Yeah.
And then having to go up against the wall and face the wall and like.
Yeah, and I remember one of the teachers like telling me, do you have to close the windows? Yeah, you have to close the windows in a tornado. You got to open them in a fire, like a fire drill. But they were like, go close the windows. Rudy, go close the windows. And I remember going over there and like sticks and leaves and shit were hitting the windows. And it was it's a twist. It was scary. It was pretty scary. Andrew, welcome. Welcome aboard.
Thanks. Sorry about that, guys.
No, I get it. I get it.
I had to reboot my computer twice and whatever, but
well,
I'm here, and I really wanted to make it because I felt like I really phoned in last week, so I wanted to like make it up this week, and it's already not.
This was going to be your big. Yeah, no, we've only been talking about Holy Cross, which I realize you're a St. Stephen's kid, so.
Right. So actually, that's perfect. I can get in here for the.
But no, that tornado was a little crazy. I remember that, but Charisse, after you left Holy Cross, you went to Scion, correct?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know this.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Got all this, I guess. I don't.
Did anyone go with you, or were you just solo walking the halls, like just on your lonesome?
Did anyone from Holy Cross go to Scion?
Anybody you knew?
No.
Did
So
you know
anybody listening, if you were a kid in Northeast, Vivi, say hi. This is Vivi.
Is it
Hi,
Vivi?
Vivian.
Vivi.
That's
Andrew.
the dog that you like?
I like them both.
No, she likes Marty more than Viv.
I love Vivi. Okay. So grade school, if you went to grade school in Holy Cross in Northeast, there was like, if you were going to continue on a Catholic education, you really went to one of 2 high schools.
Right.
And that was St. Pius or St. Mary's.
Right.
Well, I marched the beat of my own drum, and I was like, I don't want to go to either one of those. I want to go to an all-girls Catholic high school, and in Kansas City, there's 2. There's St. Teresa's or there's Scion. And I only learned about Scion probably sometime in my 8th grade year when something showed up in the mailbox. And there was like an open house, and I said, "Oh, Mom, let's go to I want to go to this." And because I didn't want to go to St. Teresa's either.
Why?
No offense.
You say that? Yeah, like why?
Well, I mean, when you're young and impressionable, reputation means a lot. And at the time, in my 13-year-old mind, St. Teresa's was.
Okay. Watch
Uh-oh,
it.
we're all on
Pins and
pins and
needles.
needles for your next
Watch
word.
it.
Choose them carefully.
I was better than that.
Oh.
I have a lot of friends from St. Teresa's, and St. Teresa's is perfectly fine. But if you're gonna give me an option, and they're like, in equal quality, but this one doesn't come with the stigma,
Right.
I'm going over here and I'm going to carve my own path. And that's what I did.
I will say early on, I think I remember telling our mom that I wanted to go to Notre Dame.
I'm sure that
it literally, I just thought, oh my God, there's a school in Kansas City named Notre Dame. Had no idea it was an all-girls school. But I'm like, yeah, I want to go to Notre Dame. That sounds cool. But
well, we called it Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame de Sion.
Okay. So you went in there. Yeah.
Let's hold on. Before we proceed, let's ask if Rudy knows what Notre Dame means.
He didn't know what muñeca meant, so.
Oh, Jesus. All right, then move on.
I didn't know what meant. Oh, what you said earlier? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that?
I didn't either.
Muñeca's a doll. Notre
Thank
Dame
you.
is our mother.
No, a doll
Our
is
lady.
a monito.
Muñeca.
Right, Jamie? Because Jamie made a monito stand, which that's a whole nother episode.
Sorry, I've sidetracked us.
You have.
Yeah, you
We
did.
call dolls monitos. Those are monitos.
Anyway, what does Notre Dame mean,
I will say that
Rudy?
in my
Oh, go ahead, Andrew. Let me think about this one, and I'll Google it real quick. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say in
Like
my
every year.
era at Rockhurst, at least for me, I knew girls from St. Teresa's and Scion. I think I sort of favored the Scion girls more, just personality wise, and just I don't know. I was always more
I think we
gravitated
were more
towards them.
cultured and more diverse, and
Is it because your school was in the ghetto?
Ghetto? You think 106
I don't
You
know.
think 55th and Maine isn't? I don't
I
know.
drove by Scion a few years ago, and I'm like, oh, that's where Scion is. Had no idea, no clue.
It's fair
like
from the
way,
road.
way
It's
south.
way off the. It's way south. It's 106 in Warnell. It's way off the road. So if you don't know to look, you can miss it.
Yeah, you got to turn and look back. But
And it's built into a hill, so most of the school is behind off the road that you can't even see.
right, and I didn't know, like Andrew, unlike Andrew, I didn't know anyone from Scion. Every female I knew in my high school years was either at St. Teresa's or, whatever. St. Teresa. I didn't know anybody from Scion. So
Yeah, I knew one person.
You weren't cool enough.
I don't even know in my high school years if I knew you were going there. But again,
this
we didn't
is the first
have
I've heard of it.
we didn't have Facebook or anything back then, so why would I have known? It's not like you reached out and said, "Hey, Rudy, I'm going to head to Scion."
And then if outside of girls from school, people I hung out with were actually like pious people.
Right.
I didn't hang out with many St. Mary's people.
No,
pious.
Pious St. Mary's. I had a lot of friends at St. Mary's.
Yeah, because around that time, there were, for the most part, people were, like you said, just going to St. Mary's or St. Pius if you continued on Catholic education, until probably, Bobby, around your year, because you mentioned your brother's going to Rockhurst. We all went to Rockhurst, and I think right around that time, I guess that would have been early 90s. Kids started going from I guess we were inner city to make the 20-25 minute drive out south
30,
to
35,
to Rock. Yeah, kind of
For
exploring.
not
other
just
options.
a private education, but I guess a more focused private education is what Rockhurst provided, what even St. Teresa's and Scion provided. So
Right. So then, after Scion, you obviously had you love Scion. Nothing but good things to say about him.
Did you enjoy your time there? Hold on,
No, it sounds like
I did. You know what? And I showed up and I knew no one. And 4 years later, like I was queen bee.
And it's crazy because you literally knew no one. Like I remember going to we had like interviews or something before we went into Rockhurst, and I was real worried, like, oh my God, I'm not going to know anybody. And Mom was there in the interview with me. She's like, are you kidding? Like you can make friends with the wall, like, which is true. But I also had Tony Vitale, Sam Zigarelli, Pete Cerrone. I mean, I had a handful of people, plus people from Nativity, Anthony Spock, Mike Mansell, Tony Lascola. I had tons of people walking in the door that I knew. But I still, the way it was like, I'm going to high school. I don't know. It was kind of
well, I mean, our little Northeast bubble, and we had a great bubble.
Right.
Anyone from Northeast listening, it's true. We had a great bubble. To go beyond that bubble is intimidating. But to your point, going into Rockhurst, you actually knew more people than you thought you knew.
I knew
Scion, it was like, I don't know none of y'all.
I couldn't imagine. But then you went on to MIZ. You right into
I didn't know this either. So you were there from what year? What years?
98 to 02.
Did that cross with you, Jamie?
I think I left second semester, so I guess it would have been that would have been right after I left. I think
you couldn't cut it
because I wasn't doing so hot. Let's just put it that way.
That's Sigma Phi Epsilon.
Yes. Yes.
You were. Is that a SIG up? Were you a SIG up?
Yes, I was. Yes. So
yeah.
I don't know whether I should admit to that or not.
Yeah. Hold on, Charisse, tell us what did you think of SIG ups back in the late 90s?
I'm trying to. I mean,
before you got there,
did you go Greek? Did you go Greek at all, Charisse?
I did not, and I mean, this is a personality trait of mine. If you've known me when I was at Holy Cross and you were a classmate, high school, college, to this day, like I don't conform very easily.
Yeah.
So for me at the time to go Greek was like, oh, I'm going to beg for your friendship. I'm going to rush and I'm going to do all the things and you're going to pick me. No, I don't want to do that.
I can
So
make friends. on my own.
that's the female experience. It's probably different for males, but that was my perspective on going Greek. You're going to want me to do this. I'm going to talk like this. And then I'm going to need your approval for everything. And me, I'm like, fuck off. And so I made friends with a lot of Greeks. I knew all the house codes. I was honorary Greek, but I'm not paying your dues. I'm not kissing your ass. Fuck you.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
the male experience versus the female experience. Totally different. But anyway.
No, it's not. It's exactly the same. I went to pick you up from your SIG app house. Me and Dad went to go get you after the year was over. And I couldn't believe your living quarters were so meager. You had such meager living quarters. I'm like, Dad, how much do you pay for him to stay here? Like, he's literally sleeping on a mattress under somebody's bed. Like, what? Yeah.
Was I with you when you went there, Rudy? Because I
You
feel
may
like I
have
have a
been.
vague, I feel like I have a vague memory of it. But
It was a
Let's
dumb.
go back to Charisse.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not trying to skirt it for anybody watching. I have no idea what Notre Dame means. If we could jump back.
Our
there.
Lady,
Bobby.
our mother, our lady, our mother.
Oh, okay.
Notre, our
Dame.
dame, lady.
Damn, hot damn. I don't. Okay. No.
Our mother of heaven is what it means.
Okay. Well, that being said, okay. So you didn't go Greek because Greek you basically pay for your friends. What did you study while you were at Mizzou?
So believe it or not, I actually studied animal science because the end game was to get into veterinary school and go that route. So I did 4 years of animal science down there. On my first day of class, I had my entire arm up a cow's ass with a glove doing preg checking. Because animal science, we learned husbandry and really like livestock. So
did you just go for it? Like, did you just go for it, or did you tiptoe toward the asshole? And
did you have to
Well,
tickle it?
I had
to
to
get
lube
it to
up.
loosen up?
do you have
I
to
had
spit
to
on it?
look up. No, she's in a chute because you don't want her to kick you, and you can't just go and you can't just sneak up on a cow and be like, "Hey, I'm going in." She's in a chute. They've got a bar.
Not just cows, but
Yeah, a cow is a
Right.
female. Is a female.
No, we're just saying we shouldn't sneak up on anybody and get.
Oh yes, please don't. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure a
Right.
different episode. Let me know how that worked out.
So you whisper to it.
Well,
a
with
little
your
bit.
bad back,
Yeah.
you shouldn't sneak up on anyone.
I was like, there, it'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, nice little.
Yeah,
cow.
so it was animal science. I did that, but I was I was very active down there in Columbia. Like I worked, I was president of 2 different clubs at the same time. I took 18-hour credit hour semesters. Like I had physics every Friday morning at 8 a.m. and never missed it.
Were you like a genius at Holy Cross? I don't remember that.
You weren't paying attention.
I maybe not. I mean, you were.
I was always on the A honor roll, not the B honor roll. I was on the A honor roll.
Scratch to get that B honor roll, but
My
I'd check the man and I'd get that church bulletin with my name in it to show the B honor roll.
spelling test was always up on the board with the star on it.
Oh, okay. You
I
get the
took
scratch.
pride in it.
Smart one there. Okay, I didn't because like in my class it was Pizzaroni, Cara Daniels, like those are the geniuses. Okay, and then so okay, I didn't know you were like that.
I've always
Check
held
out.
my own.
You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
So
Check out the
get
big
the
brain
psyop
on
in
the
the
bread.
okay, so Mizzou, so you're doing all that. You're in all the clubs. When did modeling take place?
Okay, so there's 2 answers to this.
Okay.
The first answer is probably what you're working up to, and was the first thing I ever did. And then there was a long break, and we can come back to where I took off again in later adulthood.
Okay.
But
Well, that thing that you're speaking of, that we can let people, did you search them out or did they search you out? How did that come about? Well,
So-
Hold on.
What are we talking
You
about?
can't talk in the abstract. You got to start talking here
Okay,
some
I'm sorry.
specifics. So,
so
let me
Charisse,
just rip that Band-Aid off. You know,
you
our
modeled
understanding-
for Playboy. You can move the cup away from your face. You modeled for Playboy, and it
Yep.
was a college, like a Girls of the Big 12.
So every October, the main issue did a full feature. They picked a college conference every October, and Girls of the whatever.
Right.
And Mizzou was still in the Big 12 at the time. And so that October of 2002, was Big 12's turn. So they came through campus the spring before, so March, April of 2002, and there were flyers all over. They couldn't go on campus to advertise, but they could go on Broadway and put things up. And I had seen these throughout the week, and I didn't think anything of it. And people kept daring me. They're like, "You should do it. You should do it." And I'm like, "Never in a million years. You're out of your mind. Would never." And then someone said to me, like, you don't have to be nude. And I'm like, "But it's Playboy. What do you mean?" They're like, "No, it's true." And so the number, I called the number to confirm, blah, blah, blah. Is this true? And they're like, "No, that's true. You don't have to be nude." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's give this a shot." Because if you recall at the time, the other popular publication was Maxim. And that was pretty benign, right? It was just, pretty girls in bikinis or whatever, you had the Victoria's Secret model, you had Maxim, and then if you wanted to get raunchy, you would get into Playboy. Like, okay.
Is Maxim still around?
It is in a different capacity, but it's still the same genre. We can talk more about that, but it does still exist.
There aren't really that many magazines anymore.
Stuff. Anybody remember Stuff magazine?
It was the sister
That sounds-
publication.
That sounds dirty.
It was basically an offshoot of Maxim. It was like, the sister publication.
I think they were owned by the same
I
company.
thought that was FHM. I don't know.
I
Anyway,
remember
Oh,
FHM.
that was another one.
See?
I had them all.
See? So anyway, I got confirmation. No, you don't have to be nude, but you do have to come in for an interview with your college ID and a bikini. Like, okay, I got that ready. Let's go. And so they told me where to go. They were conducting their interviews at a local hotel, and I came in with my bikini, and it was easy peasy. They took some pictures of me, and they actually were like, "Okay, you got it." I'm like, "What do you mean I got it?" They're like, You got it. We're shooting with you." I'm like, "Oh,
Wow, like right there and then on the spot.
okay." And they gave you the option you can be clothed, which was the equivalent of a bikini. You could be just topless, which I was like, no. And or you could be completely nude, which is absolutely no for me. Right. But at the time, and of course they were paying, but I don't know that I've told anybody this, so here we go, world. So at the time,
Exclusive.
All right, we need a breaking news sounder.
Yeah.
Breaking news. So at that time, I agreed to just go for it, and I'm like, these titties aren't going to look like this forever. So I was like, let's go topless. You asked for forgiveness, not for permission.
Sure.
So I went to bed verbally committing to, okay, we'll do topless. And I slept on it, and I was like, there's no way I can do this. There's no way I can do this. I can't do this. So I called him back the next day, and I was like, I can't do this. And they're like, "Okay, well, we're really sorry about that. We were really looking forward to it. If you change your mind, let us know."
I'm sure
they called me back. They called me back within the hour, and what they had done, the people who were on, it was Kim Mizuno, a big photographer. You can probably Google him. Kim Mizuno, a big photographer for Playboy. He was there. Their makeup artist, her name was Cello. There was another assist. And anyway, Cello, the makeup artist, called LA, called the mansion, called Hef. And at the time, I don't know how she got him my Polaroid pictures, but true story, I am Hef approved to be in the magazine and not show everything. And so they called me back, and they're like, "Hef wants you." I'm like, "Who? What?" They're like, "You have." They're like, "Oh shit, okay." But I can be covered, right? They're like, "Yep." And this
wasn't that an option? Wasn't that an option to begin with, though?
It was, but they'd had their models already placed for clothes. They had an idea. We want X amount of clothes, X amount of topless, X amount of full nude per school.
And so by you telling them I'll go topless and then changing your mind, they had kind of lost your spot as a clothes model.
Yes.
But then Hef gave you the thumbs up.
Like, put her in.
Wow.
Put me in, coach.
I've got a couple questions here. So, what is something
Of
like
course
that?
you do,
What-
cochino.
Of course I do. What does something like that pay?
At the time, I mean, it
in
wasn't.
$1999.
It was a couple.
or
It was a
whatever.
couple $100, but when you're a college student, that's like, oh, okay, I can make things. I can pay bills with that.
You can go to Shakespeare
Um,
Pizza with that and get some.
Shakespeare
Your
sucks.
money.
Oh my God, she just said Shakespeare sucks. Okay,
I do. I mean, I like anyway.
but yeah,
But
so,
yes, so that was on a Wednesday, and I had my full shoot, my first modeling shoot.
Right.
On Friday, my first modeling shoot was with Playboy.
That's
Ever.
See, if I'm you,
insane.
I'm thinking when he's like, well, let me go call Hev. I'm thinking like it's the equivalent of when you're buying a car and they say, well, let me go talk to my manager and see if we can do it for this much. And then hoping you'll change your mind and be like, oh, forget it. I'll just take it all off.
Yeah.
And
Right,
you know what I
but
mean? Like,
they weren't bullshit.
Well, I had already, no deal, and
Right.
so
I'm out.
it's like
Either-
it's this or it can't be anything, and so they called Hef and sent him my pictures. He's like, bring her,
nice.
and I
That's
got
I imagine
permission.
there's kind of like a bat phone, but it's a bunny phone, like just
Right,
a direct
it goes
line to
straight-
him.
Straight to
There
Yeah,
you go.
like
It goes right to his
Yeah.
bedroom in that circular bed, and like,
He's still around, isn't he, or is he dead?
No,
No,
he's
he
dead.
died.
I think
no,
he
he
died
died
a
in
while ago.
2017.
Well, you act
He
like he
died.
died in 2002. It wasn't that long ago. 17. I mean,
Almost 10 years
That was
ago.
a long time
but-
ago.
yeah, I guess it was a long time ago. Jesus Christ.
So I guess to show you, to follow up on a comment that Andrew made, magazines aren't as plentiful as maybe they once were. In just simply trying to do research for this show, I look back and purely for research purposes. You cannot find that. You can buy it as a back issue, but you cannot find the issue that you were in online. Again, just for
The big dumb animal, isn't he, folks?
I had it.
Big dumb animal.
I had
You
it.
had
I've looked. I've
Yeah.
looked in the last year or so, and I was able to find it.
I had
Well,
it.
yeah, I could buy it, the back issue, but you can't find it online.
I don't think you can find any digital Playboy issue online.
Again, that goes back to Andrew's comment. The magazines and just what they once were and these days what they are. I mean, you can't find magazines anymore.
Yeah.
No, there are. I mean, a lot of them are behind paywalls.
Right.
So I imagine you still have it somewhere, right? I mean, that you have kept it for-
Like when I was in the Northeast News, when I hit the game-winning home run for the city championship, my mom bought like a whole stack of Northeast News that had my name in it. Did your mom go and buy a whole stack of Playboys?
So
You were in it?
whether she watches this or not, it's whatever. So she acted all disgusted at first.
Okay.
Reese, how
Then-
could you? Did you guys
But
see my
I
daughter?
mean, exactly. That's exactly how it went.
She was
That's
proud.
exactly how it went.
She was proud,
Um,
but yeah. I was wondering how'd your brothers act? Hey, your sister's gonna be in Playboy.
Ooh, that,
Oh,
I'm
you know
interested
how
in
it
Like, what if they had subscriptions to it and they're like, crap, I gotta throw that one away? Like,
they probably did. But then everyone who's watching who hasn't seen it, I'm not fully exposed.
you're not nude. There's nothing in there.
So
that-
I mean, I don't have a bikini top on, but I am strategically covering myself, and you can't. And I have bottoms on, and you can't. Nothing. It's not.
it was tasteful.
It was tasteful.
Yes. So from there, like, was it easy then, since you had already it's almost like you started in the pros. And so then from there, getting the modeling career going, like, I would assume.
So
would be pretty easy.
so that was 2002, and I honestly didn't get my formal modeling career going until 2015. So do the math. That's like
Yeah.
13 years. So that was. I
got-
was.
Go ahead. Go
Right.
ahead. You can keep talking. I'm gonna
Oh,
show.
and
some of
that
these
was when
pictures.
I was.
That's my favorite one.
Hey.
When did you learn to play the guitar?
Right.
What is that you're sitting on? Is that a turtle?
That was.
Wait, what? A turtle?
That's funny.
You just
Oh, I
make a
love
joke,
those.
Bobby.
For those of you watching on or listening on Spotify, we are going through some pictures here.
Yes. Casey Chorizo. Casey_Chorizo on Instagram. If you guys are out there. But yeah, so I'm assuming you just didn't, you were doing other things. The modeling career, you did the Playboy thing, it was a one thing, and you were doing other stuff, right?
So you were very surprised to hear recently that you were unaware that I was actually a married woman.
Yeah,
for
I had
a
no idea.
time.
I had no
So
idea.
that, I mean, that was that chapter of my life. I was building a life, a different life. I was at that time. I was busy with the what now ex-husband. It's okay. He is a physician, and so I traveled around with him.
Okay. It was a
And-
traveling.
Well,
physician.
no, like when they train, like his residency was at Mizzou, but his fellowship was out in Phoenix. So we went to Phoenix, and then his job took us to Vegas. So I did 3 years out in Vegas, and then left him there.
Okay.
He's still there. And then I kind of went on
you
my
know he's
own
still
tour.
there? You know he's still there?
Yes, I do.
So what time frame are we talking about here? We talking like from 02 to 15? Is that what
I
we're...
stayed in Columbia until 04 for his residency. So I kind of had 2 years there where I was just working. And then when we went out we were in Phoenix from 04 to 06. And that's when I went to a radiology program, did some extra schooling out there. And then in 06, we moved to Vegas, and I was working out there, and I was there until 09. And that all ended. And then in 09, I actually moved back to St. Louis because it was near my mom for several months, and then moved back to Phoenix. So we're at 2010 now. Was there until 2012, had a ball, and then moved to Chicago.
Ooh.
So in 2012 to 14, I lived in Chicago.
My little brother Andrew lived in Chicago.
Yeah?
What time frame did you say you were there?
12 to 14.
And
I was
Andrew,
already
you
back
were
in
there.
Kansas City by then.
Oh, were
Yeah,
you?
I was there 05 to 10.
Oh, what part?
Graduated.
Well, I went to Loyola, so I was living
Oh,
up
okay.
on the Rogers Park at the north
Gotcha.
end for a while. And then I moved to
Cabrini Greens.
Andersonville.
Okay.
What's that?
Cabrini Greens area.
That's
I got lost there once, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, then I lived in
Good
Andersonville for a little while. So
got it. I lived
you
right
mentioned-
in the loop.
Ooh, in the loop.
Yeah.
You mentioned St. Louis. So thoughts on Emo's Pizza at all? Do you have thoughts? Plus, I know we got to go to food at some point. Emo's Pizza is disgusting,
2
correct?
minutes.
That's the weirdest shit.
It's terrible.
Like, that's not pizza.
That cheese is
Thank you.
disgusting.
Thank you.
Horrible.
I have to try this emo.
Gross.
Mrs.
I
That's
didn't
not
think-
that's not pizza.
It's horrible. It's terrible.
I
Yeah.
did not think you could mess up pizza until I had Emos, and then I was like, oh yeah, you can.
I was all
clearly mess
excited.
up
This was like a couple years ago. We went out to a
So
Cardinals.
nasty.
We went to a Cardinals game. We had an Airbnb downtown. We're going to do the Cardinals game. While I'm sitting there, I order an Emo's Pizza on my phone. I'm like, all right, let's do it. I had never had it before. Got back to the house. It ruined the whole trip. It was disgusting.
More importantly, I'd like to know your take on toasted raviolis.
In general, okay, I don't dislike a toasted ravioli, but
That's a St. Louis.
is
thing,
that a
right?
St. Louis versus Kansas City thing? I'm not
Maybe-
mad
I
about
thought
them.
so.
I'm not mad about them.
Toasted raviolis are good. If I got something to dip them in, yeah. I can do
Yeah,
that.
I'm not mad about them. But that emo shit, that's got to go. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's terrible. Terrible.
They
They're trying to
used
bring
to
them.
Provel.
They're trying to move them this way, and it's like, no.
What I
Provel's not
will
even a real
give,
cheese.
what I will give St. Louis some props for that they're bringing into Kansas City of their Lion's Choice restaurants.
Oh my
You get
god, I
Lion's
love
Choice?
Lion's Choice. Me and Macy.
It's like
Macy,
real roast beef.
Macy loves Lion's Choice as well.
So good.
Yeah, it's really
Never had it.
really
Never
good.
had it.
Really? They're in Independence off
Haven't
of like
either.
39th Street over by
Yep.
Center Point. There's one at 103rd and Metcalf.
I was
Oh,
just
there's
Those
one
may
right by
be
my
the
house.
only two, but
There's one in
they-
Liberty. There's one in Liberty
There's
right,
one
in-
right
You gotta
across
go.
from Slim Chicken. So
you got to go.
Yeah, I see. I always want to go, and I see him in St. Louis too when I'm over that way.
They're
Haley's
good.
family. Yeah.
Hi, Bob. Where'd Bob go?
he checked out. He said,
You
"This
got
is
too
boring."
excited about the food.
Is it the food or the Playboys?
Oh God.
I wish St. Louis would bring some of their White Castles back. I know that's not a St. Louis thing, but anyway. So the modeling thing. Then one of the coolest things. You were in Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes.
You became. How did you get involved with that? Because that was. Didn't you ask if me and my brothers wanted to come down and be extras for that movie?
That was a different project. It wasn't. It wasn't that.
Okay, because you told it you had suggested that there was a room for some extras down there. But okay, so Killers of the Flower Moon. How did that come about?
How did that happen? So for those listening that don't, I mean, if you don't know what Killers of the Flower Moon was, it was it's a Martin Scorsese film. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, Robert De Niro. True story about 1920s Osage Native Americans down in Oklahoma that were very wealthy because they had head rights, or they had land rights to the land. They were on oil. So a white man comes in, and they were picking them off one by one, and it was like an inside job. And the movie follows a woman and her 4 grown daughters, and one by one, they're murdered until the remaining daughter, who is married to Leo DiCaprio's character, she has the family wealth, and Leonardo is slowly poisoning her. So when she survives, but her scenes in the hospital, when she gets in the hospital, I'm in those scenes. I'm in the hospital scenes. But I came across that role because, I've done acting. We can rewind and talk more about how I've gotten into that. But I ended up on a casting list and they were doing open casting calls, which is pretty unheard of for large feature films, studio films. But this was shot on location, shot in Oklahoma where the events happened. It wasn't something in a backlot in LA, shot in Oklahoma. They sourced a lot of the local community for it. And I'd been submitting things for months. And the way it worked, like you would find out like a day or two before. They would put out submissions a day or two at a time. And I would apply to things that applied to me, and never heard back. And like 3 or 4 months into this process, I get another one. They're like, we need experienced healthcare workers, nurses. I'm like, I got this. And so I submitted again, and they email me back within 10 minutes. Like, can you be down here tomorrow? I'm like, yep. This was like a Monday. I'm like,
Wow.
Yep, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So that day was just like the fitting. We weren't shooting that day. That was, you got to do your wardrobe fitting. So they fitted me for my wardrobe. They did hair and makeup tests and took all kinds of pictures. And I was supposed to be coming back the fall. It was like on a Friday, and I was due to be called back the following Thursday. So I go back, and I'm thinking it's just one day of work, and I was going to be like, just wow, like I'm on a Martin Scorsese set. And I, sure enough, that day met Scorsese, and it was like, like, wow.
Did you call him Marty?
Yeah, not right away.
Okay.
But that's what everybody calls him. He's Marty. If
Right.
I refer to him in conversation, he's Marty, or he's just Scorsese, but he's Marty.
That's crazy.
But the moment he and I met, I'm in full 1920s nurse attire, and I'm on my mark, and where I'm at, there's a wall in front of me because they're shooting me from behind, or from the side and behind at the time. There's a doorway over here, and he walks in on set. So how this works on any large film set is that he's got a first assistant director. They call him the AD, and there's all kinds of minions, if you will, that set up every scene. And then he comes in and literally gives his blessing, and then goes and sits behind his monitor and calls action and cut and all the things. But he came into our set on our shoot to like give his blessing. And I wasn't expecting him. I thought he was going to go behind a wall and that I wouldn't even see him, and he'd be like the Wizard of Oz, whatever. But he comes right in, and I look at him. He's like, "Hi, honey." And I'm like, "Hi." It's Martin Scorsese. Hi. And he's masked up. We shot in full COVID protocol at the time. This was the summer of 21. But so that was our initial introduction. He's like, "Hi, honey."
That's
oh
awesome.
my gosh, hi.
Now
And
he
then
gave you some not advice. He gave you a compliment, I think.
it was that day.
Was it that day? Wow.
Yeah. So he's the way that they are seen. There's an actual wall that is part of the scene, and he's on the other side of this wall where he goes and sets up, and he's got a monitor. So he's watching from the other room off a monitor, and he action cut, and he's talking to me from behind the wall, and he's like, "Excellent pace." I'm like,
yes,
"Thank you."
You've got
excellent pace.
Now, what does
love
that
it,
mean?
love it. That I
What's
didn't
it-
flub it.
Just
That
yeah.
I didn't
tempo,
flub
too.
it. The tempo,
Tempo.
yeah. That I wasn't panicking and fidgeting, and that I had excellent pace. That I flowed. That he didn't have to direct me more. So
Did you do it all in one take?
I mean, that was one take that we were doing, but we probably did it 4 or 5 times.
So, wow, that's crazy. So you worked, I saw the movie. So you worked mainly with Lily Gladstone,
Yes.
Academy Award nominee.
Nominee, yeah.
Gladstone, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet or see Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro?
So no, but I'm not mad about that because I was hanging out with Marty.
Yeah.
Because we shot in full COVID protocol at the time, if you did not share scenes, you did not share air. They could not afford a set to be
true.
shut down because some background actor, came in with the COVID and gave it to our, principal actor. So if you did not share scenes, you did not share air. But if you remember in the movie, the scene where he's already in jail and he finds out that one of the babies has died.
Uh-huh.
So I was on set that day.
Oh, okay.
I was on the other side of the wall. I couldn't see him, but I was there.
That's awesome. Really cool. And so I jumped right into Killers of the Flower Moon, but you had mentioned, did you do acting before this? Like how did you get started in acting?
So rewind everything to 2015, and that's when I started competing. I don't know if you brought any of those pictures.
I don't. I didn't see a lot of those on your Instagram. You were doing, was it bodybuilding?
I was doing bodybuilding competitions.
Yeah.
So when I moved back to Kansas City,
I
moved back to Kansas City, like I just needed to plug into something. I was kind of like a mad woman, and I, when I'm mad, like there's a good reason, but I need an outlet. And so what was becoming popular at the time were these bikini competitions. Did I care about the bikini? Not really. Did I care about the stage? Not really, but I was more focused on getting a discipline under my belt and getting a process and a goal done. So for me, that whole experience was learning about, the process. But what it is that it's a bikini competition where you are in prep for 3 or 4 months. And then you have this one day where you're on stage and you're judged for your composition, your presentation, etc. But peripherally, what comes with that is when you're looking that cool, people want to take pictures of you. So I started doing lots of photo shoots, and I mean, it just kind of took off from there. I created an entire portfolio. I've gotten work out of it. I got an agent out of it, all because I started competing.
Wow.
And was on a stage and did all these other photo shoots.
So the bodybuilding led to modeling.
Essentially. I mean, I'd had many times previously in life where modeling was trying to get my attention, but personal circumstance or whatever just wouldn't allow me to do it. Like the whole Playboy thing. Another true story to that is that I was invited to live at the mansion and I declined. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
To live with Hef?
Why? I mean, what?
Really? Do I explain?
It sounds like
I know why you said no.
Bullet there from what I saw on that. What is it? I think when there
there was a
reality
reality
next door.
The one with the 3 blondes. Yeah.
No,
So
not that
I
show,
would have.
There was like a documentary or something where they like went
there's
into
been
all,
plenty
like,
of documentaries about it all.
Yeah, I was like, it blew my mind. Anyway,
and see, and that was news to you. See, I kind of sensed that being the truth, even at that time, that I didn't want to. I've never been willing to treat sex or my body as currency, even though, yes, I've been in Playboy, but my agenda at the time was like, oh, this is what's going to get your attention. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it better than you thought I was going to do it. And I'm going to use it against you.
Wow.
So that's probably too deep, but that's always been my agenda with every time I'm in front of a lens. So many girls that compete, girls that do Playboy, girls that model. It's all about come fuck me. And I'm like, less fuck me, more fuck you. I mean, I think it comes across in a lot of my images that's my goal is not come fuck me.
Right.
I don't need that.
Good for
fuck
you.
Yeah,
so
take control, take power. Anyway, because of that, I didn't go live at the mansion because that was likely what the story was going to be. Like you had to trade your hide for a chance. And I wasn't willing to do that.
Right.
So
well, that's good. So,
What? So we were talking about acting. So let's pivot to how that involves us. So let's talk about.
so probably one of your most difficult roles would have been playing
Rudy.
my wife,
All right.
in a Hy-Vee commercial. So for the people out there, you guys remember those annoying Hy-Vee commercials that were like,
They played like the Our House song.
I hate that song.
I
But
can't listen to that song anymore.
Charisse, you reached
Love
out
that
to me
song.
because they were looking for a Hispanic family. And I think what came to your mind was my parents immediately, right? Kind of. I'll let you explain it.
Well, yeah. So, okay. So, in addition, so I've done all these modeling shoots and I've done movies, but in the middle, there's commercial stuff, like literal commercial stuff. The commercials you see on TV. I think I probably still show up in your mailbox from on the Furniture Mart of Kansas ads. They still use my stuff. But so I have an agent here locally in Kansas City, Voices Models with Wendy Franklin, and she'll send me things that she knows that apply to me. And what this particular audition was about was Hy-Vee. You see their commercials all the time. They were doing this campaign was around families and family time and families around the dinner table and families being families. And they wanted a Hispanic family. And she knows that I fit in her ethnically ambiguous bucket. So I mean, I get sent out for all kinds of things, not just Hispanic, but she knew that I would fit the bill, and they were preferring natural family, people that already were families, not, piecemealing a bunch of actors together and like make it work. They wanted the chemistry of a natural family, but I was her wife, and she was like, "Can you come up with a family?" I was like, or she asked me if I could bring my family. Well, shit, my family's all over the damn place, and some of us don't even look Mexican. And so I was like, no, but I know a family. And you had just like posted pictures, your Christmas pictures of your family or whatever. You were all so neatly poised in front of like your parents.
So we can't make fun
Fireplace
of
or
mom.
something?
Yeah, we can't make fun of mom when she wants us all to get together and take a picture, because
You better not make fun of her.
that almost landed us a job. Go ahead.
Yes. And so anyway, so that, and all that imagery comes in my mind, and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm going through my emails like, oh shit, I need to apply to this. Hold on, I need to reach out to Rudy. What do you think? And so I reached out to Rudy. I'm like, look, blah, 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 blah. We need, I would be your wife. You'd be my husband. You think you can get a few of the fam together? Yes. So I submit.
Wait, what's that, Jamie?
Pictures.
I said that would take some acting chops there.
It was a little far-fetched for me to be married to someone like Charisse. I mean,
no one would believe it.
Well, I was willing to give it a shot. Like we could have played it off.
But when you sent me that email, my first thought was, guys, dad's a born to be an actor, born to be in front of the screen, right?
Our Father.
Yes.
Who art in heaven.
Who art in heaven.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't. One time I had a friend who worked at Kauffman Stadium, just a real quick sidetrack, and he needed somebody for the military salute for the game.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it was a buddy of mine that worked. He's like, "Can you help me out? Do you know any military people?" I'm like, "My dad." Perfect. He'll get 2 free tickets. He just has to be on screen for like 10 seconds. He'll get free this and free that. And I brought it to him, and he was like, "Nah, I'll just watch him here on TV." Like he wanted nothing to do with it. So when you came to me, you're like, "Hey, do you think?" And I'm like, let me ask him, but I didn't think there was any way. But I think what got it, you sent the details, and dude, Hy-Vee they weren't playing around.
They're a legitimate brand. Like you get a lot of exposure. Like they're based out of Iowa, and I mean they're in Kansas, Missouri, Iowa. I don't know where all they go, but like these commercials wouldn't just be in Kansas City.
Right.
They've been all over.
So I saw the details of like what we would make, how long we would be on the shoot. I think they were going to pay for our food and our hotel room. This is all new to us. Like, I'm just like, what?
It was something like $25K to split or something.
Yeah, it was some good money.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought we had a good shot.
We did.
Originally. Because we had my mom and dad, and my dad agreed somehow, I think because he saw the money. But so originally it was going to be Bobby and Anita, me and you. And then
because they needed kids, and the kids was the part they wanted, maybe like some some elementary kids and maybe some teenagers.
So we were gonna mix. We were gonna try to pull a fast one in. Like 2 of Jamie's daughters were gonna be in it, and we tried to mix and match to get the right set of family going. And I remember the first audition, I thought we kind of nailed it. But Jamie and I don't know if Emily was there in the first one. You guys were off to the side, and I don't know if they asked like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's that's their parents or whatever."
I have more of a face for radio. So
as we kept going, our mom was like, "Well, if everyone can't do it, then I don't want to do it if everyone can't do it." So then she wants Jamie and Emily and Andrew and Kaylee and Vanessa. And I mean, like all of a sudden that room was packed. And I'm like,
anyone listening, this was the process. So we get called in the first time. We go in-person audition with our smaller group. And then we get a call back, which that's excellent news
that's huge.
In this world. Like call back, like, dude, they've got it narrowed down to like 2 of us if they're calling us back. So at the callback is when the Mexican hysteria showed up.
yeah. We're like, well, we thought you wanted a real Mexican family. This is what it was. There's always some white ones, and there's, this is what a Mexican family is.
We got the babies, yeah.
True, yeah. There's babies here, but yeah. So
we went from like 6 of us to 27 of us.
Yeah, pretty quick. And,
I thought they wanted Mexican family. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted
how many Mexican
a Mexican family that all fit in one frame.
I've always felt like we were like on the goal line and we fumbled. We fumbled on the goal line. I think we were really close to that.
How many Mexican families only have 6-8 people in them? I mean, come on, really?
But for Hollywood, this wasn't Hollywood, but for for the purpose of this commercial, I think we could have landed it had we.
We could have been on everyone's TVs.
Yeah.
Our house.
I'm glad you're mentioning that. That's exactly where I was going to go. So
instead of those mojados that actually made it.
I think I saw it once. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, I saw it. Every time it came on, I changed it.
Exactly where I'm going. Is number one, I can now listen to Our House, the song, without thinking immediately of that commercial and that missed opportunity. So that's number one. And number two, when I saw the family that actually got the gig, I was like, oh yeah, they look like they're fresh off the boat.
Off the train.
I mean, yeah.
Oh really? I don't even think I recorded who it was. I don't remember.
They were more.
I just know it wasn't us, and I like blocked it out. Like
yeah. That was definitely something that I feel like we fumbled. We had it in our grasp and we fumbled it. But one more thing that I want to talk to you about before we get into whatever. So going back to the modeling thing, you obviously have vitiligo, and that's in some of your modeling pictures. That's prevalent, and I wanted to bring that up because, as you can see, my brother Bob, my mother, Charisse, my grandfather, and actually my daughter, Miranda. Miranda on a lesser extent. So fingers, I mean, it started in the corner of her eye and kind of hasn't really spread too much yet. She's 27, so it could still, I don't know. But was that something, when did you first spot it? Did you know what it was? Does anybody in your family
Unintended.
He's funny. My brothers used to call me Spot the Family Pet.
Oh no!
Isn't that shitty?
Who called you that?
My brothers.
Spot the Family Pet.
Right. So I mean, there was no princess treatment in my house. So when people ask you, why are you so like you're not passive aggressive, you're just aggressive. Like I had 2 older brothers. There was no mercy in my house. Yeah.
All right, Spot. So when did you? When did you first notice it? Was it how did you feel when you did you know what it was right away?
So fortunately for me, I was probably 5 or 6 years old when I noticed my first spot, and it was on, my rib cage at the time. It was just a little girl, and it was just this one spot. And I was 5 years old, and so by the time I was like 8 or 9, it had gone to like my hands and my feet, but really just the tips of my fingers. Tips of my toes, and then it started in my elbows, my ankles, and my knees. The knees was the hard part because people would make fun of me, and before I knew what they meant, like, oh, your knees. That pigmentation has come back, thank God, on my knees. But that was the first thing. Once it was on my knees, that's where people noticed it first. They didn't notice it on my hands or my feet because I had socks on my feet and my hands are always moving. So they would notice it on my knees. And it kind of stayed there for 20 plus years. And it hasn't been until the last 4 or 5 years that it's just like everywhere.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if it just stops. Bob, has yours spread anymore?
So mine was a little bit different story because mine started when I was like 16. And so, obviously as a boy, puberty, I mean, that is the worst time to start noticing that you're different physically. And so I remember my grandfather, Papacito, may God rest his soul. He actually felt so bad because I had inherited it from his side of the family. He took me to JCPenney's or something and to get like basically makeup to cover it up. And so here I am, a teenage boy.
Yeah, I think I remember
getting makeup. My grandfather's helping me buy makeup to cover it up. And so it was it was tough.
How long did you use that makeup? How long did you use that? Did you use it for a long time?
It required a little more discipline than what I had. So, I probably, a week or two and then probably lost. I mean, it requires, like I said, a lot of discipline. So I didn't stick with it. So I felt bad, but I mean, it just became more of a hassle really than it was worth. And I don't know, fortunately, right around that same time, let's see, I got it when I was 16. I probably met my wife when I was 17. So, I mean, fortunately, it really didn't become an issue because I met the woman I'm married to and the woman I love. And so, it really wasn't
the bartender, the bartender at the bar.
No, that was just some girl I was flirting with.
Oh.
But anyway, but it stayed pretty much just to my neck and my face, and that's pretty much where it stayed. Although you guys remember Anthony Paris, so he still gives me crap to this day. He says that I'm not really Mexican because clearly I'm white.
We're not Mexican.
You tell that white
We're
ass
from out of
Italian.
town.
But
no, wait,
so
Charisse, wait, hold on. Charisse had a message for Anthony Paris. Give it to him.
Tell him
That white ass Italian needs to watch his mouth where I pop him.
Yeah. We give each other shit back and forth because he'll give me crap about the skin, and I give him crap about his receding hairline. So
he took my brothers to school all those years. So
I always ask Anthony Paris if he has any bodies in his trunk because that's where we normally keep them.
So, two things before we move off the vitiligo thing. I am
Michael Jackson.
Well, no, I wasn't actually even going Michael Jackson. Winnie Harlow. You know who Winnie Harlow is, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just a tremendous model and really has taken the whole vitiligo thing and really, just kind of turned it on its head and just really well-known model who embraces.
it has actually gotten me jobs, believe it or not.
Did Bobby prep for this episode? I think he prepped for this episode. Who's Winnie?
I don't know who Winnie Harlow is.
I don't. I'm sorry.
She's a model.
Well, you gotta look her up.
She's a famous vitiligo model.
Yeah.
So you say this actually got you jobs?
The vitiligo has actually gotten me work for sure.
That's awesome.
Not a lot of commercial work, really embraces it, but I've gotten a lot of other editorial type work that celebrates it and that wants to focus on it. And one of the best photographers I've ever shot with, his name is Kai York, and he was based out of New York City. And he would get published in Maxim, published in very prestigious publications. I've shot with him, and he refused to let me cover it up. And he refused to edit it. Whereas other photographers, I would leave it up to them. I'm like, look, if it bothers you and you think it's going to disrupt your workflow, you can edit it out, whatever. Where he was like, nope, we're showing this. And so some of my best shots have been with him allowing it to be showcased.
So then the other question I have for you, Charisse, is that obviously, I'm going to say obviously, but you're familiar with Opsilura, the new topical cream that is supposed to help repigment. What's your thought on that? I know my boys have asked me, "Hey, Dad, do they see the commercials or Morgan Freeman's voiceover? Are you gonna look into this?" And my stance has always been, I'm gonna kind of. It's fairly new to the market. I would say within the last year and a half. I'm gonna kind of let other folks be the guinea pig first, and at some point I'll probably maybe look at trying to repigment.
I mean, that's usually my position on many things in life too. I let them be the guinea pig, but mine is spreading rapidly enough that I'm I'm actually for the first time considering if there's any treatment out there to curb it. I'm interested in that, because if I do more high profile work, like there will be red carpets involved. And the only reason I didn't get to do red carpets with Killers of the Flower Moon is because SAG was on strike. So it actually I actually took a sigh of relief. I'm like, oh shit, what am I going to do if I have to wear a dress and like it's back here? What am I going to do? And then I got saved by the strike. I didn't have to do any of those things. But if that happens again, I am at a point where I am willing to entertain the therapies. And so actually I am going to make an appointment and see what that's all about, because those therapies only work on like fresh spots if they're pretty well established.
Yours are old.
A lot of them are, but a lot of them are fresh.
Yeah, that's true. You got new ones. I didn't even think about the whole it being on your knees and people at Holy Cross. God, that had to be tough. I remember seeing it at Holy Cross and thinking, oh, she's got what mom has. Like it didn't even.
Right, and you all have a different perspective, and I mean, and I'll give a lot of credit to, the Northeast kids. It didn't come a lot from my immediate group of friends, or even the kids in Holy Cross, right. Kids from other schools. I have a core memory. I was at Price Chopper, and this old man comes up to me. And old at that time. We're in the 80s, and he was probably 80 at the time, so old. They didn't have a filter, and they told you how it was, and they didn't care if they were rude to you. And he's like, "What'd you do to your knees? Whatever? Did you get burned?" I'm like, "No."
Well, he's dead now, so
right, yeah.
The toughest part is seeing kids who, growing up, kids who would stare, because, kids don't know any better, and kids are, honest, and just being, just all eyes and looking at you. It's like, what they're looking at, but you kind of give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
I see a lot of that with Alicia on a different level with her chair.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of we went to the father-daughter dance, and Avery's friends would come up to me and just kind of be like, why can't she walk? They are just, you could tell. Like
they're just honest. They don't have a filter yet. They don't have any conditioning. They're genuinely curious. And that is the best time to condition little humans on acceptability and those things. And that's why I say, fortunately for me, I was that young when I had it, because I didn't have a chance to think about myself as a teenager or as an adult. Well, fuck, now what? This is really going to mess with my sense of self and my identity. I was young enough to where I was like, all right, I guess this is me.
Right.
So,
and I wonder how much, you mentioned our bubble, our neighborhood community bubble. I wonder how much of that had to do with our mom being as visible as she was. And people had seen that before. So when they see you with it, like it's, okay, I've seen that before at least.
Yeah, mom was up there for school. She was athletic director. She was up there, room mom, all that kind of stuff. And so, I'm sure the kids had seen that. And I don't remember a whole lot of kids coming to me like, what's wrong with your mom? Like nobody, I don't remember that. I do remember.
No, it wasn't Holy Cross kids.
Yeah. I remember when we were younger, didn't her spots burn a lot easier? Like I remember she always had to watch out for her spots.
I'm not a pool person. And Bob, you can speak to this. Like I don't intentionally go out and lay in the sun.
If Bob comes out, he's got a big goofy hat on and long sleeves, and he looks like
I've got a swim shirt that covers me down to my wrists to try and keep the sun off me. And then my summer hat. Yep. So I've got to keep the sun off me because I will burn.
Those spots they're albinism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The cells in your skin that create the color are melanocytes, your melanin. What this condition is those melanocytes are killed off by your immune system.
And at some point, I just came to accept it is who I am. And even when I look in the mirror, a lot of times I don't even see it anymore. My wife will tell me, and I find it hard to believe, but no, I believe it now, because when I look in the mirror, a lot of times I don't even see the spots. And so
you see an idiot.
I just see a guy that has way too much gray. But anyway, so let me go back. But let's wrap up the vitiligo part. I want to go back to something you mentioned about having to maybe walk the red carpet. Did you end up getting your SAG card for the
So that was my
performance?
last. I got to do it on a voucher. So when you join SAG, there's your initial, and it's several $1,000s just to join, and that's your initial buy-in, and then you got to keep up with dues. And so at the time, you're allowed 2 union, which is SAG, projects before SAG makes you get a card. And and I've used up those 2.
Okay,
It's just
so
one of them happened to be a Scorsese film.
So you are not yet then a member of the.
No, I have deliberately held back for a little bit until
Why?
I know there's more demand for
because
union.
of the ongoing costs involved.
Yeah, you'd have to keep paying just to
the dues, the annual dues. Yeah.
So I'm been keeping my eye on a lot. I get asked all the time, when's your next movie? When's your next movie? Well, I've been so busy with like real life that I haven't had a chance to pull my head out of my hole and be like, okay, what's going on? What are the auditions? What did I miss? What's going on? But when the dust settles and I can breathe again, I will make those assessments. And if there's more demand for more projects that are union and SAG required, I'll absolutely sign up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that was all the questions I had written down. I know.
Now, what questions do you have for us? Oh.
I know, Charisse, you've been kind of chomping at the bit. There's a lot of things that have been happening in the news lately that you want to discuss. Not that you want to discuss, but I mean, some of it though, I feel bad because I feel like the whole Harrison Butker thing, that's kind of old now, but
it's not old. It's old because it's not on your personal register anymore, but that is a huge fucking issue.
Yeah.
That mindset and that mentality and the bullshit coming out of his mouth was just disgusting.
Yes, keep going. No, I 100% agree. But what else were I figured you probably had some, maybe I'm wrong, some thoughts on the whole Caitlin Clark issue that's been going on this week. Have you kept up with that at all?
Not as much, but go ahead and fill me in. Normally, yes, but I mean, I'm in a week of training at work, and so I'm just.
Oh, yeah, no, there was a pretty flagrant foul that was committed on her this week, and it's just reports that, I mean, there's obviously she's only been in the league for maybe 10 games, 11 games, I don't know, but the league's being kind of rough on her. They're knocking her around now. There's reports that is it racism? Is it, because she's a white girl? And
who's been rough on her? The players have been rougher, or the media's been rough on her?
The players. They've been kind of, giving her the hard fouls and stuff like that. And I don't know. That's again.
Has she complained, or are we complaining on her behalf?
No, she didn't. She hasn't complained. I think it's more of a we.
So we has elected to advocate for her. Meanwhile, she's like, keep this going. I'm gonna collect my checks. Pay me, motherfucker.
Right. I think there's one side that's like, she's bringing you guys. She's feeding the league. She's the one that's bringing the attention to the league. You guys should respect her more than what you're doing because she's the reason why people are watching now. So there's that side, and then there's the other side that it's like, look, we're playing basketball. She's a shit talker too, though. So it comes back on her, and you could tell in the last interview she had in the last press conference, she's getting fed up with it, but she's kind of like, well, I just keep playing. I'm not going to let it. I'm not going to retaliate. I'm just going to get up, which in a way, to me, I feel like you do need to retaliate. You need to hit them back. Like they're just going to keep pushing you around if you don't hit them back. So
I think we'll see that sooner than later.
Yeah. I think so. I think eventually it's going to have to come to that, but
do you think her teammates need to be stepping in and helping her out and getting her back? And
exactly, because that's one thing you see in the NBA. If somebody gets knocked down, the whole team's over there getting her up, pushing the other team. She got knocked down, and there was none of her teammates.
There probably is just the word. This is just human nature. That it speaks to emotional intelligence. There's probably a lot of resentment even within her own team,
right.
And you as an individual can decide how resentful you want to be towards somebody, but is that because of what this person has done to you or because you're jealous?
Right.
But
so maybe they're not picking her up because they're resentful.
She's also getting them a lot of stuff that they didn't have before. I mean, I think this is the first year they've had chartered flights as opposed to commercial flights. So
I will say, I was at work the other day watching TV, and I scrolled through to see what was on, and it said the Indiana Fever versus the New York whatevers, and I clicked on it. I watched a little bit of the game, and I'd never done that before. So, hey, you got me
It's working.
a little bit. So, Charisse, is there anything? You've got the floor. What do you want? What do you want to talk about?
Oh gosh. I mean,
It's
we've
open.
gone over my chronology.
Yep.
Each of those chapters can be its own episode.
Yeah.
Maybe tell us, what are you doing these days? And maybe I missed this. Maybe this was pre-show. Sorry.
So what I'm doing these days, I am a medical device rep. And so I just changed positions within the same company. So I am inundated right now with new procedures, new information, new policies, new products. And so I've been just a crazy person the last few weeks. But that's what I do for a living. All of the other stuff that I do, all the other hats that I wear, it's really just for personal enrichment and que sera, sera with it. I think I've done a really good job of constructing an image for myself that is, I hope it comes across as like female empowerment and just self-reliance. Even though, yeah, some of my photos, Playboy, what's self-promoting, or, what's female strength about that, or, whatever. But again, even down to the way that I did that photo shoot, it ain't fuck me, it's fuck you.
Yeah.
Sure. So I hope that, and I know that I am. So one of the other things, and that I'm a role model. One of the other things that I do is I model coach. And right now I'm working with a really cool gal that's part of a reality show that, I don't know if you've heard of it, the McBee Dynasty. Have you guys heard of this show? They're a Missouri family. They're Missouri farmers, and they're on Peacock and USA. It's worth the watch.
I've heard of it.
It's really good. Well, they were friends of mine before I knew about this show, and the main female in the show, the whole first season is premiered, and she was like, I need help with my on-camera presence and my posture. And so I'm really helping her out, and she's an awesome gal. So I do things like that as well. She and I have even talked about, creating her own personal brand. And like, if we get deep enough into this, like public speaking, books, it's an entire market of untapped revenue for women my age and older that, that just get lost in life. But that we're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. Right. So her and I were talking about ways to do some personal branding and monetize this entire chapter in womanhood. Find a way to tap into.
So you bring up something interesting that I had only thought about just now. Is, do you feel like, and I'm sure you've got tons of nieces and nephews, do you feel like you missed out on anything not having children of your own?
Yes and no. The no part is that I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yep.
The yes part is that, well, of course, I would love to see my own little person talking shit right back to me, because that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
I would love to mold and raise little humans into functioning, healthy, viable adults. I would love to have been able to do that. But I can't, but what I've done dogs, and here they are fighting under the table. But I can't let that depress me.
Yeah,
too much.
Well, and then I just read not too recently. You guys remember the show Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
The gal that was on there. Do you remember one black gal that was on there?
The who?
The one black gal.
Gal.
I know he's saying gal like he's 80 years old. There's no black gal.
Girl. The black girl that was on there. She was the love interest of whatever character Ryder Strong played. I don't remember. Anyway, bottom line is, I just read that at 54 years of age, she's expecting her fourth child.
Here's the deal,
yeah.
though. Here's what they don't tell you, and I'm happy for her. And I still have this option. I still have all the parts to carry,
Sure.
but it's probably not her egg.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about.
Right,
Yeah,
and
I
they're
don't
not
know.
going to, and that's her business. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've done IVF twice, and this last time was 2 years ago, and there was really nothing left. So, but they were like, we have donor eggs, and you can do the things and still do the things. But I'm like, but it's not me. That's the best part.
I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
That takes a little bit away.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So then, all right. So I guess I'll go here. So then, were you utilizing then a sperm donor?
I had a short list of people that I was approaching, but it turned into it was a legitimate father to be, and we were going to do it as a family unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting. Well,
but none of it worked out.
Look at Bobby all prepared for this episode. I'm kind of
sometimes
impressed.
it's for the best. Sometimes it's for the
It's
best.
okay. We're still really, really good friends.
Good. Let's drop his
Oh, I
name.
like these. No,
I'm surprised. I'm proud of all of you guys because my brothers, because we talked about Playboy and never.
And we didn't even use.
Walking around
Didn't
bucket
giggle.
naked.
Bernie Mac, bucking naked.
We kept our composure. Look at that. We acted like mature people.
Or
Quit playing with your dinghy.
I was more
Let it
concerned about getting
We've
all
been
my
holding it back
topics
for
done.
we've been holding it back for too long. We got to let it all out now.
No. Charisse, it's been a pleasure. You're welcome on
been good.
anytime.
I got a question for you real quick.
Just got something.
do it.
So I love that shirt because Rumors is one of my favorite albums. I wore a Fleetwood Mac shirt on one of the episodes too. What's your favorite song on that album?
Oh God.
On the spot.
Like, dude, I just got this at Target. I don't know.
I know.
No, that's
You're a Tool fan,
dreams. Yes, I am.
but well,
Probably
okay.
Dreams.
Answer the Fleetwood Mac question. But I know you're a Tool fan.
Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'm a
Tool?
Tool.
Yeah. Tool.
I can follow you down the Rage Against the Machine path.
Yes.
I can follow you there for sure. But
Same era, same genre.
I'm a Maynard fan. I got some Perfect Circle albums. I can say that. I think I got
I
more
saw-
Perfect Circle.
I saw
than
Perfect Circle live once.
Did you?
They at like a festival.
So do you have a Fleetwood Mac favorite song off that album? I'm going back. I'm not letting.
I
you off
already told. I said dreams.
the- oh, okay.
She said Dreams.
I missed it.
It's a good one.
About,
great.
How about
choice.
Rhiannon? No.
What'd you say?
That's on a different
That's
album.
That's
Okay.
all-
Same
yeah.
same band, different album.
Hmm.
We'll give you a honorable
tried.
mention. Yeah, you tried.
But you were great, and we'd love
More.
to have you
I
on.
like questions. What else?
Yeah. Anybody else got anything?
Jeez.
I feel like I had.
reload.
I had one earlier,
know-
and then we moved past it. And
We need
What
to
was
have
it?
you back on just to comment on like current events. Like
Oh, hell
I think we
yeah.
all wanted to do this where we had a chance just to talk to you and kind of get your whole history out there and just kind of what you've been up to. But yeah,
Yeah.
now we need to have her back just to talk about stuff
She
that
could be our
happens from week
female
to week.
correspondent.
Yes.
Here a little bit more about me. I actually have experience in that. When the brief time that I lived in St. Louis, I made a friend. I was bartending in a nightclub out there. That's one of the ways I've made money throughout my life. Nonetheless, a guest came up to the bar top, and we made friends. And he was actually a talk radio host there in the area at the time. And he's like, I need you on my show. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, I do this, blah, blah, blah. You'd be perfect. I need a female correspondent, and you would have your own segment. And true story, he called it the most beautiful woman in St. Louis. And I was a blonde at the time. And my intro music was Suicide Blonde by NXS.
Wow. Okay.
Suicide Blonde.
So now
Anyway,
you brought
so
up a
I've done
couple of other. Now you got more topics. Number one, we need to see a picture of you with blonde hair.
Yeah.
I can't picture that.
Yeah, I can't
I'll find one.
say that I've seen you with blonde hair.
And now I'm just. What did he call you? The most beautiful? What did he say?
It was his idea, the most
What do you-
beautiful girl in St. Louis or something.
I think that you're more akin to the guy from the Dos Equis commercials. I find you to be one of the most interesting people, just given your varied background and some of the things that you've done. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, thank you.
Just kind of all the different just from, geez, all these.
Yeah, I'm no one trick pony.
Right.
Not
I guess
not
that's
in
what I'm
any
saying.
area. Not
Right.
in,
And it's all because she chose Scion over St. Teresa's. Wow.
It all
Insane.
stems back.
it is.
What
It
are
is.
Scion? I know St. Teresa's is the stars. What is Scion? What was your?
Well, at the time we were Crusaders, and it has
really?
since changed, and they made them the Storm.
Storm.
Yeah.
That's
gross.
lame.
I'm digging up a blonde picture.
No,
Bring it closer.
Oh,
I was going to say more for the social media for the to promote this episode.
I
But
don't know.
Yeah,
It's getting the.
that doesn't even look like you.
That doesn't look like you. I think
That
you're
was
wrong.
me.
I don't think that's
Wow.
you. Okay. Yeah, that looks like a wig.
I see it. Yeah. It
Not
does
a
look like a
wig.
wig.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm slightly remembering you as a blonde.
No, but we didn't. I mean, this was all after college, right? I mean, this is like
Yeah.
not when we were.
Yeah, this wasn't a
Wow.
whole crowd thing.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, given
You guys.
There it is.
given that, well, given that we have, since we had no sisters, maybe you could be our female correspondent for this show, and the pay is something we'll have to negotiate, but it's
Like
a
a
little bit
burrito or wrap from Longboards. Is that what it
He
is?
said a burrito.
It's a
Hey,
little bit
go back
less
and
than $1.
listen. Do you remember John Bailey from Holy Cross?
I remember that name.
Yeah. Go back and watch our Longboards episode, which we had trouble with our connection with John, but we plan on going back.
John
after
Bailey. Was he your year? Where was he?
Jamie.
He was
in
mine.
Jamie's class.
My class. Yeah.
I remember that name.
Yeah.
Up till, what did he say? 7th grade, I think.
Yeah, I
so-
didn't know he stayed that long. I thought he left way before that, but yeah.
and he lived
Yeah.
off of North Lawn.
Yep, right next to Eli, or no, one house apart from Eli Pena and Julie.
And the Peñas?
Yep.
I vaguely remember all this. Wow.
Yeah,
Northeast was the shit back when we were there.
it was great. It was great. 4th of July's and Halloween's on Van Brunt were
Oh, God.
insane. You guys remember, and Charisse, you won't, and Andrew, you might not, but when Bobby was walking past Tony Vitale's house and a bottle rocket hit his shirt and caught it on fire and burned a hole, it was your favorite San Antonio Spurs shirt. And
I do
was
remember that actually. Yeah.
I was at Tony's house and we were shooting bottle rockets. And I don't think they were deliberately shooting them at you, but it went straight at you, got in your shirt, exploded, your shirt caught on fire. It was great.
I think that was my
Because of
David
course-
Robinson
Oh,
San
Tony.
Antonio Spurs
Respect.
shirt.
David Robinson shirt. Yep. Because I was one of the guys.
Yes. Crap, I remember this now.
I don't know how a lot of those kids made it out of Northeast, especially those Van Brunt kids. They were fucking crazy.
That was insane. Van Brunt was insane. Yeah. That was
Insane. Like, talk about like unsupervised teenagers and tweens just like that had fireworks. They were that had parties where no parents were around on Friday nights. And I just so many stories.
yeah. Yeah.
But it was yeah. What
Is
you
your
put on
class-
your cover?
Your class with Holy Cross, we're thinking, when I think of your class, I'm thinking John Fuentes, Tommy Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, I don't know who else was in that class. Erica Buller, we just said that, but like,
Melanie
Mike-
Pena was in there.
okay, Melanie. Michael Henry, was Michael Henry in your class?
He didn't make it all the way to 8th grade, but he was in our class.
What happened to that
He
kid?
went to a different school. He transferred out to Independence, and I think he was like a baseball pitcher. Like he made it to the minors, if not the. He may have gone farther. We have to look that up.
Yeah. we'll look it up.
Let's
Michael
see.
Henry.
Vincent Ross was in my class.
Vincent Ross. Okay.
But when we consolidated with St. John, we brought all those crazies over.
Right. I remember that. But I work now at Ford. I ran into Joe Day. He was in your class, right? Joe Day?
Dow,
Dow?
Joe Dow,
How do you say it? Dow?
Dow, Dao, Dow.
Okay.
Pretty
Joe
simple.
Dow. Now
He
I
was
sound,
fun.
I think I called him Joe. No, I probably didn't say his last name, but yeah, no, I talked to him a lot at Ford. He's one of the.
He works at Ford.
Yep, he works there. He's
I
been
think
there.
you
for
might
a
be
long
talking
time.
about two different people.
Nope, we're not. It's
No,
Joe.
we're
it's
talking
Joe
about.
Dow.
We had one Asian kid in the class, and it was Joe Dow.
Because didn't he had a sister, an older sister that was in Brian's class,
And
maybe
her name was Two.
two. Right.
Because
I mean,
Vincent would always
remember her.
he and Vincent were best friends, and Vincent would call the house, and she would answer. And he's like, and Vincent, always a wise ass, who's this? It's 2. And he would start counting 3, 4, 5.
Man, that elementary humor was nails back then. But yeah. So he's at Ford. Yeah. So I was trying to think of who all was in your class, but I used to run into John a lot. He was running the Best Buy up by the airport. Now I think he runs a bunch of different locations. But yeah.
Angela Rodriguez, she was in our class.
I just saw her at the Italian Fest this past weekend. I didn't get a chance to get over to her to say hi because there was tons of people. But yeah, I saw Angela there. Her daughter danced with at the same dance school as my daughter for a while. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Anything else, guys?
I think this has been fun. It's been good.
It has been. I would keep going. I gotta go to the bathroom. So.
I have to be up to take an exam at 6 a.m.
Jesus
nice.
Christ. I told you, let me know if there's a hard out. You gotta.
It's not a hard out. I'm
You're just gonna rally.
I'm a gangster. I'm gonna rally. That's what I said. I literally said I'll rally.
You said that 6 a.m. All right. Well, we should probably cut it here then. You did amazing. Yeah, we'll talk about having you on again for sure.
I think so.
Because I wanted to get all the background stuff out of the way, and then we'll get you on and have you kind of go off. You know,
I'm not mad at Caitlin Clark. How about that?
There you go. If you ever got anything you want to go off on,
you have an outlet.
Let us know. We'll bring you on.
There's a lot I'm going to go off on. I mean,
yeah, I know.
All kinds of current events. We might piss people off. We might lose some MAGA idiots, but I don't care.
See,
we don't have a big enough audience for you to piss people off.
That's what I was going
to say. Say whatever's on your damn mind, because what I always say is no one's listening anyway. So just go ahead and say it.
No one's listening anyway. Hopefully,
why the hell did Northeast all move out of Northeast and then they all became MAGA people? What is that?
Oh, ouch!
I can tell you off the air.
I don't know if we have time to go into this.
I mean, I know I kind of know the why, but it's still
we'll
damn.
save this.
We'll leave that as a cliffhanger, maybe.
Put your hoods away.
Because Trump did just get convicted this week, so I wanted to throw that out there as like a bookmark when we're watching this show down the road.
Right.
We know what we're talking about, but that was part of Rudy's runs. We don't have to do it because we're running long, but that was part of it. The Chiefs went to the White House. Trump got arrested. Negro League stats, all that stuff. So we can.
What league?
Negro League.
Okay.
The Negro League stats.
What did you
said it too fast. I wanted you to clarify.
Negro League.
You wanted
brother. You're trying to get me in trouble is what you're trying to do.
I wanted you to enunciate. Yes.
Pat Sajak's leaving. Look, I'm still doing Rudy's runs. I'm trying to squeeze it in. Pat Sajak's leaving after 43 years.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 45 minutes.
Mexico has a female president now.
Oh, where's the Mexican drop?
Yeah, where's the Mexican drop? Come on, you guys. That's your guys' job.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
Not that one.
That's what I was thinking of.
That's what I like.
That's what I like. So that happened this week. Although was there just 2 female people?
There were two candidates. They were both female.
So it was going to be Jewish regardless.
Right.
Funny. She didn't look Jewish.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
Oh, Spaceballs. Right. We can quote Spaceballs all night.
We talked a little bit about that. So Spaceballs or Blazing Saddles for you, Charisse?
Spaceballs.
Yes. Yeah. This was last week's topic, but yes.
Spaceballs all the way.
I would take history
when they're out there with the pick in the desert and they're like, we ain't found shit.
Yes, that is perfect. That's a perfect.
She's gone from suck to blow.
What a good movie.
That's a great movie. Are you kidding me?
It's just so funny because I grew up with that too. Like that's the best Mel Brooks movie. But then everyone who's like a 70s Mel Brooks person with Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, they all say that Spaceballs is where it all, Spaceballs and Robin Hood, Men in Tights, everything after that was awful.
Well, we say the same thing about kid music right now, so I guess I can relate.
Yeah, I guess it's just whenever the sweet spot was for you.
Yeah, that's true.
It was Spaceballs for me.
Yeah,
it was Spaceballs.
I agree.
I loved it.
Well, good deal.
Anyways,
on that
guys?
note,
All right. Get your
should we wrap it up?
finger on the
Let's go,
button. Are you ready?
Mimis.
Yeah, it's time for Mimi's. I
right.
think that was good. Everybody feel good about that?
Want to thank our guest Charisse for joining us this evening. Thank you very much for giving us of your time, and yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back soon. But for now, for my brothers Jamie, Ruru, Andy, this is Bobby D saying until next time, quit acting stupid.
Not to get into too much troubles, okay?